Specificity is going to be your true negatives, your true negative rate. In other words, how well can the test or the tool detect those without the disease or condition? So let's say you have 100 people. All 100 people do not have the flu. And so you create a test to detect whether or not a person has the flu. If your test isn't that very specific, what's going to happen is you're going to get a small number of people that test negative. So let's say of the 100 people that you gave the test to, 50 get the results back as negative. Our specificity is going to be 50% because 50% of the people tested negative, and in reality they also do not have the disease. So they are truly negative. If the test isn't very specific, you're going to have a lot of false positive results. In other words, you'll have a lot of people that take the test, they get a positive result, but in reality they do not have the disease. In our example, we have 50 false positive results because we have 50 out of the 100 people get the results back as positive when in fact they do not have the disease in reality. And so the problem with a test that isn't very specific is you end up getting a lot of false positive results. And so what ends up happening is you end up over-referring people for treatment, when in reality they didn't need any treatment because they don't have the disease. And this over-referral ends up in time and money and resources being wasted, as well as worrying a person, having them think that they have a disease or condition in which in reality they do not have. So we want the specificity to be as high as possible as well. So let's say you develop a test that's more specific, and 95 out of the 100 test negative and the remaining 5 test positive. This is a much better situation to be in because we don't have as many false positives. So to calculate the specificity, you take the true negatives divided by the true negatives plus the false positives. In our low specificity example, the true negative is 50 because 50 out of the 100 tested negative, and in reality they also do not have the disease. Meanwhile, for the false positive, that'll also be 50 because 50 out of the 100 tested positive, when in reality they do not have the disease. So we get 50 over 100. Our specificity rate is 50%. And so for our high specificity example, our true negatives is going to be 95 because 95 out of the 100 people tested negative, and in reality they do not have the disease. And as for our false positives, that's going to be 5 because 5 out of the 100 tested positive, when in reality they do not have the disease. So we end up getting 95 over 100, and what this means is that 95% tested negative, and in reality they do not have the disease. So they are truly negative. So to recap, specificity is going to be your true negative rate. In other words, of the people tested, what percentage tested negative and in reality do not have the disease. If the specificity is low, you're going to have a lot of false positives, and so you're going to end up over-referring people to treatment, which ends up wasting time, money, and resources, as well as causing people unnecessary worry because the test is telling them that they have a disease, in reality that they do not have. So we want the specificity to be as high as possible as well. Keep in mind that there's no perfect test out there, and so it's very rare to find a test that is both highly sensitive and highly specific. That's it for this video. I hope this video helps. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.